Maria?
No, he doesn't have a daughter. It's let me think. I guess it would technically, it would be like his niece.
Ready to go! No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Hi, welcome to Co-op Critics. I am Zachary Nichols.
And I'm Tony Fiducia, and we're doing gamer culture or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, that's what we're doing. There's something interesting about gamer culture. Now, first we'll go ahead and just describe this before we get into what we wanted to really talk about. People describe gamers as, gamers like, it's like a title.
Yeah.
It's like a thing you hold, depending on the amount of gamage you do. Like, it's like if you play lots of games and lots of types of games for a long time, you're hardcore, right?
Yeah.
And if you play like less games, you're more casual or whatever. And it's like there's different terms, and it's like hardcore. I don't know if it's intentional, but it feels like a term that's intended to kind of denote superiority. Like, it's like, oh, I'm hardcore, I'm better, I do more, and it's like,
it's not something that's like really considered, but if you ever like get into a talk, like if you
there's a pride in there.
Yeah, it's something that people carry with them that like for some reason they consider that superior.
Why is it a problem to us that people carry this with like a pride to it? What is it that bothers us about that?
Because, well, there's a confusion when it comes to like what video games are. We consider video games to be art.
Yeah, that's still a discussion which we find weird.
Yeah.
It's like, is it art? And it's like, to us, we're like, yeah.
And so like when it comes to art, there's not someone, I mean, I guess there are people who are a little bit more prestigious or whatever, but it's like what a hardcore gamer is, like the typical like view of what it is there's someone who plays longer, more complex, sometimes just more arduous games. And that's the stereotype. Mm-hmm. Stuff like World of Warcraft, something that you just consumes your life. But the thing is, when it comes to art, that is irrelevant. Like, that experience is entirely, like, I mean, that's a nice skill to have, but like that's in terms of how you view art, that's worthless.
Yeah, that's what's a little weird is that, admittedly, and I'll go ahead and say this, I'm not really thinking much about the competitive parts of gaming, because I know that we both think professional gamers are, like, and I'm not saying pro games player. I'm not being sarcastic or snarky. I'm saying like pro gamers, like Dota players,
Esports people.
Yeah, the esports is one thing. That's competitive gaming. That's one thing. That's the same as when people play chess. That's a game, but it's competitive. It's meant to be something with other people. We're talking about games in the form of like art, things like Final Fantasy, things like Half-Life. But the point is that video games as like an entertainment medium, as a thing where, things since like Mario or even earlier than that, you step in, you do a thing, and it's either an individual or a shared experience to some people, and it's like you play it, and it sometimes will teach you something, or it'll be fun in a certain way, and it sticks with you. That's video games as an art, and it's interactive, and it sticks with you in that way.
Yeah, that's how it differs from movies, is that interactivity.
That's the thing that makes us think it's art. If it were just visuals, then it would just be a movie.
Yeah,
but games,
which is still art. I mean,
yeah. But in my opinion, things like Papers, Please. You played that game?
Yeah.
Yeah. That game is completely unique unto video games. You can't replicate that game in a movie in the same way.
No.
You can't make a movie where it's just a dude doing the papers for people at a immigrant border crossing and it be a good experience.
I mean, you could, but like the idea is that you yourself are experiencing this.
It's the thing that makes it memorable is that you're the one doing it, and that's really interesting.
Being put in that shoes yourself as opposed to just watching someone do it.
Yeah, so that's why we think games are art. Moving on. I think the terms offend me when it comes to like hardcore and casual gamers and things like that, is that people get pride and sort of a sense of merit. And I even see it on like Steam, which I like Steam, but like people, like the number of hours people play video games. Like I go to some people's profiles and it's like, oh yeah, I played 120 hours of games the last 2 weeks. And you're just like, why?
Yeah.
It's like, don't you do anything else? Video games for me have always been like movies. It's a certain art form that I have experiences with. Like games like Papo and Yo or whatever, like games that I've played and I remember and they taught me something. It's weird to me that there are people out there who are attaching a sense of pride and like, oh yeah, I'm better. I am cool. I'm more of a participant in this art than the other person, which makes me better. And it's like,
yeah, you can be competitive. Like you can play Papers, Please and go like, how fast can I do this and how much money can I accumulate?
that doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist.
Because it's not the point of Papers, Please.
But like you can do that.
Yeah.
And the problem is like, while you can do that in a game like Dota and get better at it in terms of being able to win more,
Yeah.
like a lot of video games aren't made for that. And
No.
the goal is to get something out of it.
Yeah.
And I think where that comes in is where like with a movie, the goal is to watch the movie.
Yeah. No one
You get
can
to the credits
no
scene,
one
you
can
win.
watch a movie better than another person.
Yeah.
They just watch it.
Yeah. Whereas like with a game, you can not beat the game.
Yeah.
It's possible to lose. There is a failure state.
Yeah.
And I think with that, a lot of people are driven to like, there's like a skill component that people think like,
That's all it is.
yeah, like if I get better, I win more games, I'm better at games.
Yeah.
And it's like, no,
Yeah. That's not the purpose. I don't play video games to get a sense of fulfillment out of anything. I play video games because I really like the experiences I have in them.
Yeah.
Like I'm playing Arkham Asylum right now, which is one of my personal favorite games. And like I'm playing it because I like some of the story in it. I like feeling like I'm Batman. I like doing the things in it, and I like experiencing the well-designed gameplay because it's constantly changing.
Yeah.
But it's not like I'm better at playing Batman than other people. Who cares? Why does it matter if I'm better at playing that game? Like, you can look at Mario. You can get a high score in Mario, whatever.
Yeah.
But Mario is really fun for a completely different reason. It's not about being the best. That was never the point of Mario. It was about being fun. Yeah. And that's why I don't like these terms, is that it implies that people are somehow playing video games wrong. And it's like this idea that people are, how would I describe it? It's the idea that certain people are not worthy of the video games. And you're like, what?
Do you know that there's some people out there who think that the only or the true way of playing Smash Bros is with no items?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I've heard that. And the thing that bothers me is we have a lot of friends who play video games. And they play different kinds of video games, different amounts of time, whatever. None of that matters. I think of all of them as, it's like, I don't even like the term gamer because it's like, we mentioned movies. Movies, there's no verb for it. You just watch movies.
Yeah.
You just, with
It's not a movie
no.
and a movie
You don't movie better than other movie guys or moviers.
Yeah.
That's not how it works. You just watch a movie. And it's like with video games, I think of it as you just play a video game.
Yeah.
But people don't call it that. They're like, no, you're a gamer. And it's like, yeah, I'm a gamer. And I'm like, who cares?
I mean, there are film buffs, but like,
It's like if you watch a lot of films, sure, you might have more opinion on it, but theoretically, everyone has a valid opinion on a film. And to me, and it's the same way, if someone just picks up a video game and plays it, I'd be interested to see what they say.
yeah.
Maybe it wasn't intended for them, but whatever.
There's no one who goes over to someone who's looking at a painting, shoves them out and go away and says, I look at paintings more.
Like, that's the problem that we have. We're like, it doesn't make sense. And it's like, it would annoy me because, shout out to our friend Sarah. She plays tons of Fire Emblem. She loves Fire Emblem, and she loves story-heavy games. And I recommended Final Fantasy to her. Some people would be like, she's not a gamer because she only plays, like, Fire Emblem. That's all she does. I'm like, yeah, but who cares?
If she enjoys it, that's fine.
Yeah, that's what people do with movies. Like, the movies I like tend to be like in the range of superhero action kind of like style movies. Like I like Kill Bill. Like my favorite movies are usually action films. Like I like Terminator 2. That's like what I prefer, but that doesn't mean that like if I go off and watch another movie, I would watch it worse. I just watch it. That's all it is.
Like there's this concept that like that goes into like developer mentality as well, where like certain developers try to like associate their games with either like a hardcore nature or a casual nature. A lot of people will associate casual games with games that are usually either shitty or made for kids, or like mobile games like Candy Crush.
Yeah.
Like people are like, oh, those are casual gamers. Why would you ever make a game for them? Or 2048, you put up a clip of that.
2040, what? Oh, gotcha.
Taylor's playing an iPhone game.
Like that's the thing that bothers me, is that there are some people who focus on it's creating demographics that I don't think should exist, and that's what bothers me. Like films, we don't really. I mean, films. Okay, admittedly, they do demographics that I wish didn't exist, but like at least in those senses, I can kind of get that they're aiming for certain audiences at times. You know, it's like okay, they're doing a romance movie, and they're gonna look at what romance movies are doing right now and what works.
Yeah.
Whatever. But that's my whole issue. Is it's like. Okay, like people want to act like okay, Nintendo has said the whole thing. I even saw it in an article that Nintendo tries to aim for. There's a term that I didn't even use, like I didn't even know existed. Core gamers, not hardcore. Core, which is in between casual and hardcore.
That is so baffling.
Who cares?
Yeah, nobody cares.
That's like, oh, what does that mean? Do they play 30 hours as opposed to 20 or 40? It's stupid. But point being. They try to aim for that with how they design their system and whatever, Nintendo. The thing is about the Nintendo games, I always like the Nintendo games, but they're fun to everyone.
Yeah.
Anyone who picks up like, let me think of one of the good games, like Luigi's Mansion, Dark Moon, great game on the DS. Like if you pick up that game, everybody will have fun with it. It's a fun game. You play it and you're like, oh, catching ghosts is fun and it's challenging and it's cool. The whole game's great. I love that game. Go play it. The only problem with the game is that they use one theme throughout the entire game and it's really annoying. But yeah, the game is great. And I'm like, it doesn't get worse if you're a hardcore gamer. If you're a hardcore gamer, you're not gonna play it and be like, this is stupid, unless you're like an idiot or something. I don't know. I hate fun. Well, you know, I used to actually, for a short period of time, I was actually not really a fan of like difficulty meters because it made me think like, oh, well then anyone can beat the game because I used to think difficulty was the whole point of games. Like there was a period of time where I thought like that. But eventually I started realizing as I talked to more people, you know, even our friend Zoe, who's sitting immediately in front of us, she talked to me about how she would play Skyrim and she plays it on the easiest setting because it's stressful for you and you don't play as many games as some of us do. But that doesn't mean you didn't play Skyrim. That doesn't make any difference. And I play it with mods to make the game really hard because it's fun that way to me. I don't know. That's just what I like. But I don't think that makes you any more or less of a person who plays a video game. You're just playing a video game. And like, there's so many games that anyone can play and understand and beat. Games like, in my opinion, Half-Life 2 is one of those. And a lot of those games incorporate like difficulty meters. They do it intentionally because like it only takes like a slight change to make it where it's like, oh, in Skyrim you make it easier, then all the enemies are easier to kill and you die less fast. Then it'll make it a little bit easier for you. That's fine.
Yeah, but in the other way, just to really say it, like a lot of people like with the idea of like achievements in games and stuff like that, taking like Mass Effect, specifically 2 for me, because that's the one I remember doing this with. When you increase the difficulty, one of the only things that changes is like the enemies have more shields.
Yeah.
It's like, oh great, you made the game tedious.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's not, I don't get a better experience by playing a game harder in that way. Yeah, okay, so Dark Souls, that's a game where a lot of the community misunderstand it in the sense that it's like, they try to make it like this hardcore game. It's the champion game of hardcore flagship. There's this common thing where they want to like dismiss people who have legitimate questions or problems with the game with the idea of like, oh, you just suck, get better, noob. And my problem with that is like the game isn't clearly meant to be hard.
Yeah, it's meant to be doable.
It's meant to be doable, maybe a little challenging, but it's not meant to be hard. You can play Ninja Gaiden. Totally different experience.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
And then it's like...
I'm having flashback.
There's mechanics within the game, and the way you pace yourself within the game, you can make it easy. So, like, having this mentality of, you know, only people who, like, do, like, the stupidest thing in the game are good at it.
Yeah.
Are... like that can easily ruin a game and like exclude people who want to get into something such as Dark Souls without like having to jump through the hoops of everyone treating them like shit.
And that's kind of, you're noting the thing that bothers me is that there's a sense of exclusion with like gamer culture. It's like there's this idea that people, if they're not good enough, they should just go away. And it's like, yeah, but the biggest problem is that it's like, if you want to act like this is all about merit and all about what it is you're doing, let's at least do it with something where you actually gain something out of it. This is the reason why for me, competitive games, I totally get it. Be like really hardcore, be whatever, like act like it's a big deal to be good at it because it's competitive. You're playing for money. That's your job. That's completely different. But when you're talking about games like Dark Souls, nobody cares. Nobody's playing a tournament for Dark Souls. That's not how it works. The game's meant for you to play it through and like have a good time and beat it. And it's challenging, but that's the point. And then people act like they've accomplished something by beating it. It's like, you haven't really accomplished anything. You just played a game. It's the same thing as watching a movie for a whole bunch of hours. It's the same thing as watching a television show. But the experiences were more direct, interactive. That's it.
Yeah.
Why is there any merit to that?
Yeah. Sorry to interject yet again. Oh my god.
that's fine.
Sorry. But as like one of the main mechanics in Dark Souls, like the ability to invade people or help people, like that whole idea was brought about from like the director being stuck in a snowstorm, and he had his car was like stuck on a hill, and he wanted, or like him being stuck and the people in front of him and behind him being stuck prevented people from going to where they needed to go.
Right.
So strangers helped each other anonymously.
Yeah.
And he couldn't stop and like say thank you or help them, because then he would be like getting people stuck again.
Games are experiences. They're artistic. That's the whole... To me, they've been that way for a long time. Like even games like Mario, the whole point was it was a fun game and it was made to be fun. The intent was not for you to play it and be like, oh, I'm such an accomplished human being. It's like, no, you did the equivalent of watching a movie or watching a TV show or whatever. It's just a different kind of experience because you're directly involved in it. But I don't know. I don't know why they attach these things to it. It's stupid. Got anything else? No? No. Okay. Well, I guess we'll see you guys later. We hope you don't hate our video about us telling you why you're stupid.
I mean, if you're like that, I mean, if you're not, you're cool.
Yeah, just if you are like that, you probably should stop watching our channel. Just unsubscribe. You can just go.
Dislike our video. Don't comment.
Don't do this.
Actually, comment.
Oh yeah, that sounds like fun now that I think about it. Yeah, just comment.
Yeah.
Just be like, I hate all of you. You're stupid.
Get us more people to view us because you're adding to our comments.